Welcome to Objections with C. Stanley Willis. I am Michael Morris. Listen, man. First of all, I got it. You're making me nuts. Why? Because this is right on the lip here. Our listeners can't see this, but why do you always set it right on the edge? You can reach it right there. Okay, can you just leave it there? Because you're gonna spill it, and you do that every show. No, God damn. Okay, so I wanna get into something because there's a lot of depth and what I think is also a lot of fun.
I think we need to talk about your emotions.
I do have a little OCD about this cup.
I think we should talk about this more. Why do you think?
I'm trying to save your life. If that coffee,
why do you think you have such strong emotions about the cup?
Because that cup is going to spill on your lap, and you're going to get that McDonald's lawsuit thing going on, and you don't know a good lawyer. Okay. Other than maybe me.
I could stew my pants off for that.
You can't represent yourself against a big corporation. I've seen it in movies. You have to get like a whole law team.
I could represent me against me if I wanted to.
Well, that's fine. Oh, are you calling yourself a big corporation? You're a big deal? All of a sudden, a guy has a podcast that's blowing up, by the way.
It's blowing up. Well, that's because of you and your Hall of Fame influence.
Can I just say that there are not enough Hall of Fame lawyers, and we have decided we're starting one.
We're going to start a Hall of Fame.
In Stan's office.
In the hall outside.
Yeah. So the only way to be eligible is to work here or be Stan. So if you're either of those, please send us emails to duck@WillisSpangler-Starling.
Duck.
So I told
Duck. What is
that's
that?
you. Remember, I said you needed
a cool. Me.
I said you needed a cool nickname because
that's not a cool nickname.
No, because Dan is like the guy that comes over and works on a wicker chair, like on a Saturday. But Duck is the guy you go, oh my God, this guy must be really good because he has a stupid ass name. Like I'd
rather just not have a stupid name.
Okay, well, listen, we're trying to spice it up for our listeners here, and you're poo-pooing. This is brainstorming, and there's no bad ideas in brainstorming.
There's no bad ideas in brainstorming?
That's what I was told by a guy who was brainstorming.
I don't think that's true.
See, this is what...
You know, I subscribe to the Dilbert philosophy, you know.
God, I was hoping you were going to finish that, because I didn't...
I subscribe to the Dilbert philosophy, which is that there is no such thing as stupid questions, only stupid people.
We got a real banger going on right now, boys. To try to
what are we talking about? By the way,
to get to this topic,
is this the Hall of Fame show?
Well, let's speak.
I feel like I'm on the Phineas and Ferb music episode. We should be counting down. Is Doofenshmirtz coming around?
What I like about it is that we're going to get into a serious conversation, but we managed to blow it in the beginning. So, but let's talk about Hall of Fames and people that aren't going to get them. Brian Flores, formerly of the Miami Dolphins, is suing the NFL, saying that it is a racially motivated thing that he didn't get a head coaching job, and that the NFL is also systemically racist. I should have just said racist, but I don't want to call them racist right now.
Systemically racist.
So, I don't know. Excuse me. I've had too much Monster to drink. What he was saying is that he found out at a dinner for the Giants head coaching job that he feels he was being placated because they already had somebody in mind that they wanted. And so he's now suing the Giants, the Patriots, the NFL as an organization because he didn't get a head coaching job. And then on top of that, this is the other legal part that I'm not sure how this works. He said he was also paid to lose games up to $100,000.
Wow.
So,
sounds like a job I could do.
Oh my God. I've said many times.
By the way, any NFL owners that want to pay me to lose games, I'm your guy.
NFL, I will coach soccer teams. I don't know about soccer, but if you don't want to win, I'm your guy.
You know, if you want to pay me to lose games, I'm your guy. Call me up.
I could do that easily. Like, guys, line up off sides constantly. Like, I don't even know that much. I know about Madden football. I know about watching it. I couldn't coach it. Here's my problem.
4th and 15. What are we going to do? Let's go for it.
Yeah. We're going to run a draw to the right. And then if you make a couple yards, kneel down so you don't get hurt. They do encourage kneeling in the NFL.
I want you to fall back and drop it in the end zone. That's what I want you to do.
So when you see a lawsuit like this, because you're suing one of the biggest corporations in the world. You're suing the NFL. And then each team is a corporation inside a corporation.
Right.
From an outsider's view, and as one of the best lawyers ever, when I look at this, you don't have a shot. You're burning every bridge on the way out, right? What is he trying to accomplish?
You know, I don't have you don't have the insides in ins and outs of the lawsuit. He may have something. I mean, there may be something that was said, something was something that he heard about. He might have an email.
Sorry, I should let you know he did get a text message from Bill Belichick congratulating him on getting the head coaching job for the Giants. Belichick texted Brian Flores, not Brian Daboll. So
he sent to the wrong guy.
Yes, and then he said, "Damn, my bad. I'm sorry." That's what he's basing it on. But that's, to me, that's not enough to say.
That by itself. I mean, to make out these kinds of employment claims like this are really, really difficult to make out. Any kind of, we do discrimination law. We handle that. We deal with people who have been discriminated against for being older, being black, being
ugly.
Well, only in your case, but
I'm going to sue you for that. I'm going to sue you for that comment.
For saying that you were ugly. You know,
hold on a second. First of all, you just inferred it. Now you just said it.
Exactly.
That's slander.
Let's
right
take
now.
a vote. Everyone in this room who thinks that Michael is ugly.
Okay. This is not a democracy. As you saw in 2020, this is a rigged system.
Objective fact is a defense. If you don't stop, I'm going to set my coffee on the edge.
Again, there's a new rule. No coffee cup. You can bring coffee in here, just not in a mug. You're saying it's hard to prove that.
Wait. Since when do you get to make the mandates? I mean, honestly.
Because I do the intro.
Have you been appointed by Governor Cuomo?
As a fully registered judge in the United States of America, I can do it anywhere I want.
You're a fully registered who? What? Where?
Listen, I know the law.
You're only a judge in the sense that you can sit in your couch and watch Judge Judy on TV.
And you know why? Because I can pay a cable bill. That's right, America. If you think you've been discriminated against and you have cable, you haven't.
Wow. Is that the standard? Because if it is, we're in trouble. So where I was
because I interrupted him.
Yeah, because he interrupted me with this whole line of whatever it was we were just doing.
Tomfoolery.
Tomfoolery. I like tomfoolery.
Use it.
Is that kind of
Would you be tomfoolery Willis? Listen, it's that kind of day. It's that kind of day.
I'm sorry. Now he's talking like Perry, right? Hey, Mike, I know what we're going to do today.
This is a Hall of Fame podcast.
Nah. So anyway, what I was saying was it's really, these cases are tough to make out. It's difficult to show it's just difficult to show in a particular instance a bias, whether it's a racial bias, an age bias, a gender bias. It's difficult to show unless you've got somebody who actually said something. The fact is, though, there's a good chance that somebody associated with this may have said something that's racially biased in the past, and so he may have a case. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what
I think the tough part.
I don't know what all the facts are, and a lot of times with these cases, you're filing the suit based upon things that you've heard, but you're going to have to do discovery to actually get all of the facts that you need in order to completely make your case.
Let me tell you what I think they're going to drag in. The John Gruden emails.
They might.
Right?
They might.
So,
because he didn't work for the NFL when he sent those emails.
Well, that's funny that you say that, because now you have to drag ESPN as a corporation in, right?
Well, but just because he sent that to other people who worked at ESPN doesn't mean that anybody else at ESPN shared his viewpoints.
Totally agree. But here's the broader point. Project Veritas came out with another. They had an insider there that was filming.
That was sarcasm.
No. I'm saying I'm building off of your point.
Out of my sarcasm?
I'm weaving this sweater of storytelling here, and you're trying to ruin it by putting your mug on the table on the edge, making me insane so I can't get to my point. They are now showing a system. Oh, God damn it. They are now showing different videos of producers and segment people talking about the inherent racism both ways at ESPN. That comes out.
Uh-huh.
I do find it funny that there's this overwhelming attacking of the NFL, and it's all the same thing. It's all race baiting, or, it's race, not racism, but not giving people jobs based on race and all that. Mm-hmm. But you and I talk all the time about how pro sports really is wrestling. Mm-hmm. I think it's fair to say. So,
in sports entertainment, right?
Well, that's a weird thing that was coined for wrestling, but again, sports is. I think it goes back to 2007. Somebody filed suit saying these outcomes are rigged and all that, and they said it's for viewing entertainment, so you can get the results that you want. Because what you don't want is the Jacksonville Jaguars to get in the Super Bowl and end up playing whoever the shittiest team is, the Philadelphia Eagles. Who's going to watch that, right? You've got the Super Bowl with the Rams and the Bengals. The Bengals that's a great story, and you're getting that Midwest market.
It's a great story. As a Bengals fan, it's only been what?
Well, enjoy it for now, because you got another 50 years to live it out until this happens again.
I don't think I'll be there.
Yeah. Well, you'll be retired?
I think yeah.
Oh, you will have left this mortal coil?
Have left this mortal coil.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll text you then.
All right.
You're good about getting on your phone, by the way. Whether you're here, like you're living or not, I'm sure I'll get more text. I'll get more text messages from you when you're dead.
Get the same response time.
I think that
crickets.
I think it's funny that the timing of this is right before the Super Bowl, because we're going to go into an off season, and I think this is going to get buried.
Yeah, probably.
Same thing with the Kaepernick thing. When that was a big deal, he brought it up towards the end of the season and got swept under the rug. And every once in a while, it rears its head again.
He cooked his own goose, though. I mean,
Kaepernick.
He cooked his own goose. I think he had a claim. He had everybody's attention, and then he didn't show up. And I think that just buried him.
He took a payoff, and people were saying, "Oh, he got paid hundreds of millions of dollars." It was less than $5 million. But he got his Nike contract.
I don't know that he did or didn't do that. I'm just saying he took himself out.
Well,
whether he did it by choice or not.
He opted out of a $40+ million contract because he thought he was going to get more money to go to the Broncos. The Broncos end up making the deal to get paid Manning, and so nobody wants him. When you tell your own team, I don't want to be here, but nobody else wants you because, again, do I think that what he was doing was wrong? I'm of two sides of it. He originally was just sitting on a bench.
So you can go either way.
Well, here's my thing. Is there police brutality?
Yes.
Sure. Are you doing anything about it by kneeling and getting other people to kneel? No. Because when you look at the league, I mean, the Pro Bowl was last week, and they weren't even tackling each other. So Alvin Kamara, who's in the game, beats the living piss out of somebody and puts him in the hospital, almost like blinds the guy. When you look at the amount of crimes that are committed by NFL players, another Raider got in trouble. Guess what he had? Guns and drugs in his car, right?
Really?
It's
guns
odd.
and drugs?
Guns and drugs. Somehow they go together.
It's rare that you see those together, right?
I think if you have stolen guns, they give you free drugs. But you have to drive them around. You're responsible for the transportation.
You think it's like a 2-for-1 kind of a deal?
Yeah, it's like the McDonald's where they do that mix and match thing.
Buy some crack, we'll give you a 45.
Yeah. Well, none of these guys get 45s because I don't think it's as cool. They get like AK-47s.
Okay, well, yeah, you know.
Because it looks cooler. You know, when you're holding it up in a mirror and you take that selfie, it looks dumb, that little gun. Like, you want to have like an attack weapon.
Yeah.
But your feelings on, I want to get back to what I was saying about Kaepernick because I want to get your thought on this. When Kaepernick started taking a knee on the sidelines, the reason that was going on is the NFL did a deal with the armed services for the big flag on the field and making a big deal because at the beginning it was brought to you by the Navy, the Army, the Air Force to help with their recruiting efforts. The only reason this became an issue is the NFL didn't want people kneeling when the flag was being presented. Now it wouldn't matter because being a patriot is probably the worst thing you'd be in this country, right?
You'd be coached by Belichick.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant people that actually believe in the flag, not people that play football in New England.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
I see. Yeah, it does seem to have become a dirty word.
It's an odd thing that's happened.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd thing that, as little as 3 years ago, if you'd have said that you were a patriot, most everybody would have said they were a patriot. Most everybody would have said, "Yeah, I want to be in this country. I like this country. Yeah, we've got problems, but we can fix them. But I want to be here." Most people would say, "Yeah, I'm a patriot." Now, all of a sudden, if you say, "Yeah, I'm a patriot," you're in some fringe militia group, or
You sold out this country.
yeah, or like what was his name that used to be the CIA director?
Yul Brenner.
Yeah, Yul Brenner. No, the other Clapper. He said on he said on CNN, he gave this whole list of people that might be domestic terrorists, and he listed libertarians.
Right.
Like, really?
You know why I always
libertarians are domestic terrorists.
I hate when there's a list and I'm not on it. Like I really want to be on that. Like I want when they're like Joe Rogan and Howard Stern and I want us to be. I want us to be canceled.
You want us to get canceled?
Yeah, because you get more listeners, right? Like Neil Young is protesting about Joe Rogan, and now everyone's paying attention to Neil Young. You know, the next time they're going to pay attention is when he dies in 3 weeks because he's older than shit. And when he's gone, no one's going to care about him.
Shouldn't he wash his hair too, by the way?
First of all, Neil Young should be in jail, and I'm going to look right in the camera in case Neil's watching. What you did to Daryl Hannah is a shame. You should have left that woman alone because she looks like a mess. She looks like an unkept mule. And that's because of him, because he's a dirty hippie. I think we all saw Splash, and we all saw 10, and we all said, yeah, everybody wants to be with that. And then Neil Young ruined it. He should be canceled for that.
Didn't she date another singer?
Jackson Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how that ended.
Ruin it?
He ruined her vision with the right hook, and then she had to leave him for Neil Young.
Oh.
But that is a true story.
Because she could beat up Neil Young, or what was
Well, he was a pacifist, right?
He was pacifist.
he was all about peaceful stuff.
The funny thing is that if people, I'd say people younger than 40, probably can't even tell you one song Neil Young sang.
No.
I mean, I can.
I'm trying to think. I know Rockin' in the Free World, The Needle and the Damage Done, and Freebird.
Southern Freebird.
I actually can't name a third
Freebird
one.
would be Leonard Skinner.
The same one. Oh, they're the ones that say they don't need a Southern man doesn't need Neil Young.
That was in a different song.
But I'm going to count that because his name's in it.
That was in Sweet Home Alabama.
The movie with
the Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
No, Sweet Home Alabama, the song. And that was actually a reaction to Neil Young's song Southern Man.
Right. Do you feel like you are defending yourself that you haven't seen a Reese Witherspoon movie? I feel like you jumped away from that really quick.
No, I saw that movie.
Okay. And you would give it a what out of 10?
I don't remember much about it.
Okay, that's a lie. He thinks it's an 8. It's in his office. You're getting off topic.
Let me think about this. Sweet Home Alabama, was that?
How many ducks would you give that? 8 ducks.
Was it? She was a lawyer getting divorced and moved home to Alabama, right? That was what that was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was Kevin Costner in that movie?
No.
Because I didn't like the movie, and it seems like Kevin Costner's in all the movies.
Kevin Costner's in every movie. You go, God, this is going really slow. Oh, because Kevin Costner's on the poster.
I did like Dances with Wolves.
That's like, you know what I like? Mission Impossible. I like Tom Cruise because of that. Did you like him in that weird movie where everybody's swapping partners and wearing masks? Oh, what's that called? Face Off? Nate, what's the name of that movie? Thank you.
No.
We got to research.
Face Off.
What's
Nate, this is yes. He doesn't even know. He's looking at his phone. Got no idea what you said.
We're recording a show and Nate isn't listening to the show.
I was looking up the
He's looking at Pokemon cards. He's not even paying attention to the show that he produces.
That was great.
Anyway,
Awesome.
Let's tie Alabama back to racism because that's where we were trying to go with this.
Racism.
So
yes.
if a client came to you and said, I am being discriminated against by race, religion, or any of that, you said that's hard to prove without actual.
You got to have some kind of documentation usually. Somebody sent a text, somebody sent an email, somebody didn't realize they were on an open mic.
Right.
I mean, we've gotten we've seen some really interesting things in discovery in text messages that are exchanged because people don't. I mean, you think that your text messages are private, but your text messages are all actually recorded. And even if you delete that text message, it can all that can be recovered.
Really?
Yeah.
That's admissible. Why are you saying yep, Nate? Because I know that. Please don't share anything I've been texting with you. Because some of that stuff, I only show it to you because the lighting's good. So if somebody was... Well, what I think is weird is they went
It's
through...
all enhanced.
Of course it is. Yeah. So a lot of baby oil. But if an email chain... Remember the whole thing about Hillary Clinton's emails? And then they said, well, don't worry, we can recover it. And then all of a sudden you couldn't. Why could they recover thousands of emails from John Green, like 11,000 emails from one guy? Like, did he never throw that laptop away? Does he use Gmail and just has endless amount of, memory? I didn't.
Anything that you put out on the internet, once it hits the internet, it's there forever somewhere. Somebody can get it if they want it. It's just the will of the person to find it.
So how far would you go? So someone says, let's say it's based on religion. I'm being discriminated because of my religion. Is that something where it's a one-on-one, like you're doing this to me, or it's 20 people in the office had all this communication about me? Like, how deep can that go?
Well, typically there has to be some damage. It's hard, like, you have the hostile work environment kind of a claim where the person doesn't want to be there because they all make fun of me.
That's what this show is.
Something like that. Yes, it is a very hostile work environment. I really feel awful being here for the way you treat me. But by the way, I don't think you like me very much.
No, I just don't like when you bring your coffee mug in here. That's the only thing I had. That's oh God damn it. I hate it. I have a little bit of OCD.
But anyway, so you have the hostile work environment claim, but then also, it's kind of just because a person is there has to be some damage that's done to
the person.
The person. So that's why the coach is saying he didn't get the promotion because he was black.
Right.
So what he's going to have to find out there is some sort of smoking gun that says, we're not going to hire him because we get this other person over here who's not black that we want to hire because he's not black.
Right.
The other thing and the reason he's talking about the systematic thing, if he could show that the NFL owners all got together and they decided, we're going to let black people be coaches, but we're going to keep that at 15%. And, we don't need to hire him because we're already at our 15% number. Then he could be showing kind of a systemic, there's some
like
kind
a pattern of
behavior, pattern behavior that is racist. But that's a more difficult claim, I think, to make out. The whole thing it's difficult, but I don't know what he has. I don't know what evidence he actually has, and so he could have a case. He could not have a case.
The only thing I think that gets the league in trouble, because I think this is going to go away, because as you said, it's hard to prove. If he can prove that the owner paid him $100,000 to lose games, it undoes the entire belief in the NFL. Mm-hmm. To me, that's the biggest part of this. If he is the guy that brings that out,
the coach at the Browns say?
Hugh Jackson.
He kind of.
But here's the problem: the next day, he immediately backtracked.
No, that's not what I meant to say.
Oh,
I mean that's what he said.
Oh, I thought you didn't mean to say it.
No,
I like when you say things with intention.
No,
no, not like that. Like do it the other way. Do it the way you normally do it.
What was I talking about?
Well, we were talking about Hugh Jackson.
Can you play that back? No, I was saying
First of all, I want that to be my ringtone where he
Hugh
goes,
Jackson
no,
said
like
the following day, no, that's not what I meant.
right, because he literally said, yeah, they paid me to lose games. And then what he said was they just kept extending my contract. That's not the same thing. I think there were coordinators that jumped on board. But what's funny is the ones that jumped on board now they went from the defensive backs coach in Pittsburgh to the defensive coordinator. So this is what bothers me about any discrimination situation. If it can be solved with, well, you'll get this promotion. I think if it's really a problem, tackle that problem because it's going to tackle the problem for everybody else. Don't bitch and complain and then, no, I'm fine now. You know what I mean? Like, follow through with it. And that's what we're going to do because we're going to follow up on this. We've run out of time. But as this keeps evolving and we have more information and I do a little more snooping, we'll do that. Stan, once again, great job. I'm going to put this cup in the middle of the table. You've been listening to Objections with Stan Willis, and we'll see you next week.